Mr Costello, thanks for your time.
Good to be with you, Brian, and thank you.
How did last week go?
The G20 meeting was a great success, thank you, Brian. Yes, marvellous thing.
What was it about?
Where were you last week, Brian? Don't you get the papers? It was the biggest thing going round.
Yes, but what's something about you and your brother, wasn't it?
No, Brian. It was a major meeting of international financial leaders, heads of banks, heads of finance ministries and so on.
And how did it go?
Well, it went very well in the long run, Brian, but it took a while to be disrupted. That was the problem.
Did you want it to be disrupted?
Well, there'll always be troublemakers, won't there, Brian? You know that.
Yeah, you just couldn't find any.
No, they didn't turn up for a few days, Brian. We were in there for the first few days, nothing to do.
What had you done to attract them?
Well, we held the thing in the middle of a major city, Brian. We didn't put it on an island so we were being private. We stuck it in a major city. We put helicopters above it. There were police everywhere. It was on the media all the time. I might say, Brian, the ABC was very, very helpful in this. I don't agree with everything about the ABC, but my God, they were a cracker last week.
You couldn't have really missed this, could you?
You couldn't miss it. No, they shut the city down. It was completely surrounded by police. There were barricades.
What were the barricades for?
Well, if these violent thugs ever turned up, Brian, they'd need something to push over.
None of them turned up?
Well, not initially, Brian, no.
And did you advertise?
We did little else, Brian. It was on every news bulletin right across the country every hour that the G20 meeting was in Melbourne and that we were expecting protesters.
So they would have known they were going to be on television?
Oh, yeah. And if they didn't turn up, what was television going to cover?
Cover the conference?
Cover the economic event. Brian, the average age in the media tent was 11. And what are they going to do? Talk about international economics at that age?
Well, that's done by rock bands.
Exactly. Get a DVD.
So what happened?
Well, eventually they turned up, Brian, and we got a result.
And what was the story of the week?
Can I just say something, Brian, about these violent thugs who turned up last week and attempted to disrupt a very, very important G20 meeting in Melbourne?
So it went very well, Mr Costello.
In the long run, Brian, we got away with it, but it took a while to crank the clowns up, I tell you that for nothing. I wouldn't want to have to do that again.
Where was your brother in all this? Didn't he make a very good point about world poverty?
Well, Brian, you cannot fix poverty simply by throwing money at it. That's what my brother needs to understand.
But isn't that the only way to fix poverty?
Can you just come and kick the table over? Kick the table.
Mr Costello?
Disrupt the... Kick the table over. Because otherwise I'm going to have to answer Brian's question, and it's a very good one. He's been talking to me brother.